The Pilot Custom 823 is a true fountain pen icon, but that doesn't mean that it's worth $335 US. So today, I'm going to go through the top 5 reasons that the Pilot Custom 823 is worth $335. And I'm also going to go through the top 5 reasons why there is no way that you should be spending $335 for the Pilot Custom 823. And at the end, I'm going to give you my overall opinion and what you should do if you're looking to add this fantastic fountain pen to your collection. So join me, won't you, as I go through it, and we start now. Our first reason that the Pilot Custom 823 is worth every penny of $335 is that absolutely stupendous 14 karat gold nib from Pilot. This nib is a stunner. It is an absolutely beautiful nib with an incredible consistency. And what this nib has achieved is this perfect balance between smoothness and just a hint of feedback. So you feel connected to the paper. You're not totally disconnected. You're not just sloshing around on a big bed of ink. You have a bit of grounding as your nib interacts with the fine grains of whichever paper you're using. But nevertheless, it doesn't sacrifice a bit of smoothness. No hesitations, no false starts, just an incredible looping line that's a joy to write. One of my favorite things to do with this pen is to sign my name. It makes me very curious about that signature nib. I really need to add that to my collection. So this nib really is a bargain at $335 because it competes with nibs on fountain pens for twice as much or 3 times as much, and it just sits right in there. So 14 karat gold nib, it's pretty great. Our next reason why the Pilot Custom 823 is worth $335 is because it has an absolutely amazing vacuum filling mechanism. This is a relatively rare filling mechanism. It's becoming a little bit more prominent these days. We're seeing some pens using it, but it's certainly a dramatic and a fun way to fill your pen. It fills the pen very quickly. You don't have to worry about all this twisting, but there are some other considerations that go with it. So although it fills it quickly, you do need to open up the stopper a bit if you want that ink to flow for long extended writing periods. But one of the great things that this pen affords you is that you can seal up the main reservoir and just write with the ink that's in your feed if you're on a flight, for instance. So it's a fantastic fountain pen for travel and for everything else. That vacuum fill system is brilliant, and on a $335 pen, it certainly elevates it, and you can always get the 743 that doesn't have it, so you have some choices there. But I love the vacuum fill system, and the 823 is brilliant and worth every penny. Another reason why the Pilot Custom 823 is worth $335 is that it is a Pilot, and the Pilot Pen Company is one of the largest pen companies in the world, and it has roots going back to 1915 when Ryusuke Namiki founded the company. It has so much history and heritage, so much innovation, just an absolutely brilliant fountain pen company, although it also makes other pens. I'm sure the fountain pens are a very small part of it, but it's a very important part to us. And the ones they make are glorious, from the E95S, which is just so brilliant, to the Pilot Metropolitan. Pilot just makes fantastic pens, and the 823 just ranks among them as one of the flagships of the brand, one of the most beautiful and expressive fountain pens out there, and I just love that it's a Pilot, and I just have a lot of admiration and affection for the Pilot pen company. Another reason why the Pilot Custom 823 is a fantastic value at $335 is that it's made with fantastic materials and an incredibly high level of fit, finish, and quality control. It is an absolutely amazing fountain pen with a beautiful 14 karat gold nib, high quality resin in black, amber, or clear. It has beautiful components in the vacuum fill system. You don't have any fear of that wearing out. It just is so well put together, such a great performer, that you certainly feel as if a lot of attention has been paid to making this one of the best pens, one of the best performing pens, one of the most consistent fountain pens out there from one of the greatest fountain pen brands out there. So I think in that regard, the materials, the fit, the finish, the QC, you are purchasing a certain level of peace of mind, of reliability, and just a fantastic pen that you'll have for the rest of your life. Another reason that the Pilot Custom 823 is a great bargain at $335 is that this may very well be one of the greatest travel pens ever made. It's perfect for flying. You have peace of mind. You don't have to worry about it getting an upset stomach and burping up a bunch of ink on your flight. You can seal off the main reservoir with a rubber stopper by screwing the mechanism down, and then simply write with whatever amount of ink is in your feed, and that usually lasts a pretty long time. So that gives you comfort, and it gives you a way to safely write with your fountain pen while you're ascending and descending the great blue skies out there this summer in your summer travels. Also, it is a very elegant, beautiful fountain pen that fits into any travel situation. If you're going away for a business meeting, if you're just going to sit by the banks of the Arno River and journal or sketch with it, it's just seamless there. Now, the one thing I would say to be careful with is it's not the most robust fountain pen. Something like the Kaweco Brass Sport would be just indestructible. You could drive a tank over that fountain pen and nothing is going to happen. Pilot Custom 823 could be crushed fairly easily, so you do want to keep it close. You want to cherish it. But for all your traveling adventures, all your cafe writing, all your museum note-taking, all your plane writing, and everything else, this pen may very well be one of the greatest travel fountain pens ever made. One of the most important reasons why the Pilot Custom 823 is worth every penny of $335 US is that this is a true Grail fountain pen. In fact, this may be the entry level to Grail fountain pens, but that's not to demean this pen in any way. The writing experience that you have with this pen ranks with the Montblanc 149, the Pelikan M1000, the Visconti Homo Sapiens, and others. It's not the same as those, but neither are they all the same. It's another unique, interesting, fantastic, reliable, and repeatable, and just joyous and pleasant writing experience that you can get for only $335. That is a fantastic bargain. It is truly a Grail pen, just fantastic to use, and it's sort of fountain pen snob proof. If you're in the same room with a Pilot Custom 823, does it get any better? I mean, really. Although, if you had a Lamy Safari, I would be hanging out with you. But nevertheless, Pilot Custom 823 is truly an accessible, inspirational Grail fountain pen. I've said this before, but I have to say it again here. You could buy another fountain pen after you purchase this one, but you don't have to. You have every joy that fountain pens afford you in the Pilot Custom 823. It is that good, that beautiful, that enjoyable. So what more can you say? I made a compelling case, so obviously you would buy this fountain pen. I gave you 5 solid reasons why it's a fantastic value, but hold on there. There are also a lot of reasons why there is no way this fountain pen is worth over $300. I mean, $300 is a decent amount of money. I mean, come on, what could you buy with that? That's groceries for like 3 days. So, we have to weigh these things. So let's get into the reasons why the Pilot Custom 823 is no way worth $335 US at the time of filming. The first reason why the Pilot Custom 823 is no way worth $335, and you may rue the day that you put out that money for this pen, and that's the first time you clean it. Have you ever cleaned this pen? The vacuum fill system is fantastic until you have to clean it. You have never flushed a pen so many times in your life. I mean, piston fills are the same way, but most of those are opaque, and you never know how dirty it looks inside. But with the Pilot Custom 823 being semi-transparent or translucent and being able to see all that inky mess in there, and if you want to change color, you are going to be flushing this pen over and over again to get it to run clear. I don't know how long it will take to do it, but I would maybe put on a podcast, settle down with whatever your preferred cleaning method is, and just relax and just go through the ritual. These are our rituals of fountain pens, right? It's one of them. So try to enjoy it, because you're going to be there for a very, very long time trying to clean this fountain pen. Oh boy. Another reason why there is no way this fountain pen is worth $335 is that it's a little delicate. You really need to protect this fountain pen. You probably want to get a nice padded pen case for it, even though it's fantastic to travel. I spoke about that a few moments ago. But you really need to protect this pen. It feels like it's easy to crush, easy to break, and it just doesn't feel as robust as, say, something like the Visconti Homo Sapiens or Kaweco Bronze Sport. Something along those lines. I mean, this is a simple resin pen with a somewhat complex filling system. You want to take care of this pen. You don't want to drop it. You want to keep it close in your inside pocket, in your purse, somewhere else where this pen is protected from all those harmful elements in the world. We have to take care of our children. We have to protect them. So same goes with this pen. It is a bit on the delicate side. Fantastic. I love it, but please be careful, because that's $335 in one pen that you could accidentally run over it with your rental car. That would be terrible. Another reason why the Pilot Custom 823 is no way worth $335 is, have you looked at it? I mean, I hate to attack it on looks, but it's not very pretty. I mean, it's a pen. It has a pen design. It's certainly functional. It's got beautiful glistening gold on it. I mean, the nib is certainly beautiful, but the design of the pen is sort of reductive. It's just not the most stunning, beguiling fountain pen. You're not going to be staring at the depth of the resin like a Benu fountain pen can nearly hypnotize you when you look at the materials that they are made out of. This fountain pen is rather plain and not the most beautiful of fountain pens. So for that $335, you are getting a nib, you're getting a great filling system, great QC, great materials, all of that, but you're not getting an aesthetic experience. You're not getting a design icon aesthetically. Now the nib will take care of that, and it is a true icon because of what it can do, but visually it won't inspire you the same way that some other pens may. So that's certainly a consideration if you are visually inspired. So keep that in mind. So how are we doing? Have I convinced you one way or another? We're getting there. So another reason why this fountain pen is not worth $335, so stop right there, is that at $335, it's slightly too expensive to be an affordable pen. And also at $335, I call it a Grail pen, but it's right at the entry level for a Grail pen. So are you going to be satisfied if you truly want a Grail pen? Or is it going to be a bit like you want a Porsche 911 and you buy a Porsche Boxster? Are you going to pull up at a red light next to a Visconti Homo sapiens and wish you were driving that? You have to ask yourself that, because you truly need to get the fountain pen you want. And if you've set aside $335 of your hard-earned money, should you set more aside? Wait a little longer to get something else, a Visconti, a Mont Blanc, or a Pelican. I mean, there are a lot of choices out there. So at $335, it is sort of positioned in an odd place. Personally, I feel like it's priced fairly, and it's a fantastic fountain pen. And I've said it, if you buy this pen, you don't need those other fountain pens. But you may still want to. The heart wants what it wants. So just be sure you can be satisfied with it. I mean, I love that pen. I could be satisfied with it, but I've bought other pens, so I understand these things. These are complex issues. So think about it. A little too expensive to be affordable, a little too inexpensive to be a true Grail. So weigh what you feel about that and where you are on that scale. The last reason that I would urge you, wait a second before you put out that $335 for the Pilot Custom A23. And the reason is the vacuum fill system. So it has some considerations. It's a little fiddly. It's a little unique. For one thing, filling it, you really want to be careful. You want to use inks that have a solid base, or you want to hold on to them and somehow fill with one hand. You can easily topple an ink with a vac filling system, and you want to be wary of inks like Ferris wheel press that are top heavy and that don't have wide bases. You just want to be careful which ink you're using with this fountain pen, because the mechanics of it make it a little awkward. It's a little slick. You have to push the plunger down. It really takes two hands to do that, and you don't want to spill any ink. Another reason is just the function of a vac filler. So for me, in the way my mind works, I kind of hate loosening up the stopper. I don't like the gap between the barrel of the pen and the knob. I just feel like it's just a bit inelegant, and I never know where to put it. I'm always sort of obsessing. Is it open too wide? Is it not open wide enough? And, you know, none of that matters. If it's not open wide enough, it'll stop writing. These are the things I obsess over. So it drives me a little mad that I have to deal with that for longer writing sessions. So keep that in mind. That is a consideration for this fountain pen. Just the mechanics, the use of the vac filling system, not the least of which is that it holds so much ink that it can take you months sometimes to work your way through the ink that you have in this fountain pen. And if you are ink promiscuous the way I am, and you have a very short ink attention span, you might want to try something else. I love ancient copper in my pen, but then when I use it for business, I want to switch over to my Eclat de Saphir. Well, I have to wait a very long time unless I either want to waste some inks or put it back in the bottle, and usually I just waste the ink, which is sad. So that's a consideration. Think about how this vac fill system really integrates into your life, how you use a pen, and how you obsess over it the way I do. I mean, look at me. How could I make these lists if I weren't obsessing over things all the time? But now I'm going to make a determination, because This is an absolutely glorious fountain pen, and I think that some of the things that detract from it, the vac filling system, the fact that it's not the prettiest pen in the world, some of the other items, I mean, the plastic is exposed on the cap. I never really like that, but all of these things, they just add to the charm. I mean, this pen is brilliant. It's a pilot. It's part of that heritage and culture of excellence. It has a fantastic nib, just one of the best nibs. If you ask me to list the best nibs, actually, that'd be a good idea to do a list. I may do that. I'm sure this one would rank so high. It is glorious. So in my personal opinion, the Pilot Custom 823 is a glorious fountain pen, and if you don't have one, I urge you to at least try it. It is fantastic. So what do you think of this? Which side are you on? Are you pro or against? Please let me know in the comments. Let me know what you think of my ideas. I'd love to hear from you. And if you know someone else who may enjoy this video, please share it with them. I'd love to be introduced to more people. And please subscribe if you've made it this far in the video. This is your homework. Just please hit that button. I'd appreciate it. So if you really want to support the channel, consider becoming a member. We have a pen pal group. We do a lot of fun things behind the scenes. I'd love to have you. I make new videos all the time, and I have a live show Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. So I can certainly promise you one thing. We will see each other again very, very soon, further up the road. So take care of yourself.